Hey everyone, it's Dot, and today we're making what I hope to be a very, very tasty dish and adding a lot of nice healthy fat to a normally bland chicken breast. We're going to be making a lemon herb goat cheese stuffed chicken breast. First thing we're going to do is start making our stuffing. And what I'm using as my primary ingredient, as the title says, is goat cheese. But before I add my goat cheese, I'm going to add a large egg white. And what I'm going to do is just lightly beat it, get it a little bit frothy, but not terribly frothy. I'm going to now add my goat cheese, shallots, parsley, chives, and lemon zest. Now the nice thing, lemon zest gives it a nice lemony flavor, obviously, but what you want to make sure of is that you wash your lemon really good. You make sure there's no wax on it, and in zesting it, you want to really just zest a small lemon because that'll give you just the right amount. You get something too large, I'd say only zest half the lemon. Next thing we do is just mix all the ingredients. I should say, before you start this process, you want your goat cheese out for at least a half hour. You want to bring it to room temperature. You want it softened. Otherwise, it's going to make it hard to mix everything together. Right, now we're going to start preparing the chicken for stuffing. Now, I will say this, the challenge about stuffing chicken breast is cheese has a habit of oozing out of the chicken once you put it in the oven. And after all, that's one of the things that makes cheese delicious. It oozes. So we're going to use a little trick I discovered that can keep the cheese inside the chicken breast. And that's where these slices of prosciutto come in. And I'll show you how to use these in just a moment. But for the chicken, you want to make sure you have some twine available. So what you want to do, you want to make sure your chicken is all cleaned and prepared. Now, these are pretty much uber-sized chicken breasts that I have. It's like this is a radioactive bird. It was gigantic. Normally something this size would serve 2 people. This alone serves 2 people. So this recipe now that I'm making tonight is actually serving 4 because of the size of the chicken breast. That's fine. All you're going to do, you want to take a paring knife. You can also use a boning knife with this if you have one of those. It's a little bit more flexible. But essentially what you're going to do, and I'm doing this a little bit backwards, but so you can see it, you're going to make a little incision inside the chicken. You're going to cut, and I'm just moving it forward. You want to try not to go all the way through to the other side of the chicken, because what you're doing, if you can see here, is I'm creating a pocket, and I'm going to go about 3 inches. So you see what I created here? It's a nice deep little pocket that I played with, and it's about 3 inches or so long. And you don't want to go through the other side of the chicken, but if you happen to accidentally nix it, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. It's not the end of the world. But that's one pocket down, and I'm going to go ahead and start on this breast. All right, my recipe, when I wrote it out, calls for 1 ounce of prosciutto for each breast. And for this one, I only used ½ an ounce, and it shows because a little bit of the cheese is starting to ooze out before it even got in the oven. But that's okay. We're going to do this one right. So what I'm doing here is I'm using 2 slices. That's 1 ounce of prosciutto. I just overlap them slightly. And all you're going to do is take your cheese and you're just going to put it in the center. Next up, you're just going to make a pouch that this is going to go into. You want to be careful when you're folding it because the prosciutto is very delicate and it certainly can rip. And then the next step, you're going to take your pouch and you're going to fit it into the chicken, into the hole that you made. It really is that easy. The next step is you want to take twine, some kitchen twine, and you're going to tie it. And you're just going to do a simple knot. And I like to do it in 2 places, near the top and near the bottom of the incision. Then you want to cut off your excess string. Now we're ready to brown the chicken. My olive oil is on a medium-high heat. It's nice and hot. You can see it sizzling a little bit. My oven is set for 375. Remember, convection oven, it's at 350 for me, but 375 for you if you have a regular oven. What I'm going to do is go ahead and put my chicken in, and we'll hear a nice sizzle. And all I'm doing here is just browning the chicken. I flipped the chicken. It's browning on the other side. What I'm going to do now, before it goes into the oven, I'm going to add in a little bit of butter. And this is where the flavor is coming in, additional flavor. So I'm going to cook it in butter, and then I've crushed a couple of pieces of garlic. And I'm just going to add that in here. I'm going to let it brown for the next few minutes, and then it's going to go in the oven for about 10 minutes. Now when it's up on the stovetop, keep in mind, it's not done at all. It's just you're browning just the outside. The inside is still not cooked. Chicken is done. All we're gonna do now is let it rest for 5 minutes, but before I do that, I'm gonna take some of the pan juices and just sort of cover the chicken. All right, the chicken is out of the oven. It smells delicious. This is the one, if you recall, I only used 1 piece of prosciutto with it, so that meant just half an ounce of prosciutto. And it didn't do it too bad. It's oozing a little bit. It came out, but not a whole lot got into the actual pan itself. This one, where I did the double wrap like I was supposed to, held the cheese in there just fine, just right. Let's unleash the chicken. I'm going to cut the twine off. I'm just going to cut it open so you can see what it looks like on the inside. Hopefully this one won't ooze too much, but my husband claimed the nice one. So let's just go ahead and start cutting. So you can see, I'm not cutting it dead center, but that's okay. But you can see, look at that. There's nice cheese in there. Now normally with something like this, because of the size, I would just go ahead and cut slices, and especially if you're sharing it with other people, that would be the way to go. So I'm also going to cut it from up here too. And again, gives you an idea of what it looks like on the inside. I'll just open it up for you. It looks awesome, but how does it taste? Well, let's see. I'm going to take a little bite. This is delicious. The goat cheese, the herbs, really nice texture to it, but the lemon in there really just takes it to another level. Prosciutto is great with it. It really adds a lot of flavor to the chicken. Adding this to it, this additional fat, just really makes your mouth water. It is, again, a great way to make boring, bland chicken a little more interesting, or certainly the chicken breast, way more interesting. I hope you like the video, you share with your friends, subscribe, and until next time, I'll see ya.